All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna not too quickly, but not to spend a lot of time. I'm gonna do a refresher for each part of the project. Um, those people that I've already worked with on some of this stuff are starting to realize just how easy it is. It's not meant to be hard, guys, and not meant to be hard at all. So, first and foremost, guys, everybody fill out that form before they start their project, especially if you're working with a partner. If you don't fill out the form, I'm going to assume that you're working alone. I want to know who's working with who, and just fill out that Google form. Make sure you read the directions, just as always. Um, if you're working with a partner, make sure that both people are shared on the document. I'm going to check to see if you guys are both working on it. I don't want one person to turn it in for two people and then only one person worked on it. So make sure you share it with each other, and then only one person needs to submit it. So make sure you put both of those names on the first slide. Each slide tells you exactly what to do, and I put these exact assignments in there to tell you exactly where you can find how to do each part. So in part 1, if you want to look up 1.5 and pull those slides up for help, it might be really helpful. On part 2, if you want to pull up 2.1, that'd be helpful, and so on. So that'll help you with that stuff, especially if I'm not here. The reason I'm doing this now, and the reason I want to get this out of the way is I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to be on campus Thursday and Friday. Okay, I'll be out at a tennis tournament. So please, you can still message me and you can still send me an email, but I might not be able to respond right away, especially if I'm driving the bus. Please make sure that every answer is set up to be pretty unique. So make sure that you guys are doing your own work. So part 1, it tells you about a group of 6 students who are running different booths at a high school course fair, and there are several students working in multiple booths. There's 6 different booths, and there's 6 students, but some of the students are every student is working on at least 2. Some of them are working on 3. So what you're asked to do on the next slide is to create a vertex for every booth and label it with the class abbreviation. Do you remember what vertices are? What are they, Jimena? Okay, well, the vertices are the dots. You can do them in a number of different ways. You could make them hollow to start out because you are going to color these eventually. So I have 6, and then I'm going to name them with the different classes, and I can't remember what they all were, but T, CA, SM, and so on. Let's see. I'm not going to do this whole thing, but I will. Welding, AM, and welding. Oh, and cosmetology. Let's see. So welding, Cosmo, and what was the other one? What's the one I'm missing? I have that one. T, C, A, S, M, W, C. Oh, auto mechanics. Okay. And it tells you if a student is helping out with more than one booth, those vertices are connected with an edge. So the ones that you got to be really careful on are the ones that are working on 3 different classes. So for example, Jared's helping with T, C, A, and SM. So when I connect these, there's going to be an edge between T and CA, T and SM, and CA and SM, because he's working on all 3 of those. Okay. And then you're just going to continue connecting them that way with every student. I won't do the rest of it for you guys. And then the third part's asking you to color the graph, each vertex, and find the chromatic number. How do I know when 2 vertices can be colored using the same color? Well, if this vertex is blue, let's say that these are all connected like this and whatnot. This is not the answer, guys, so don't copy that. But let's see here. So if that T is blue, then the only other one here that can be blue.
All bus riders, please make your way to the bus lanes. All bus riders, please make your way to the bus lanes. Thank
is
you.
AM, because AM and T are not connected with an edge. and then you would have to use a different color for another vertex. And the chromatic number is just the least number of colors that you can use. So you're just going to find that, and then you're done with that section. And then after that, you're creating a schedule. The whole point of you making this graph in this section is because it's going to help you make a schedule to set up the booth times so that people that are helping out with multiple booths don't have a conflict. And you're just going to use the different colors that you use, however many colors that you use. If you use blue, right, blue is the vertex, and whatever booths were blue, you would list right here. And then you put in your colors, the rest of your colors there. You may not use all the session times, so you may not need them all. So that's how you do part 1. Any questions on that from you guys at home that are here? Okay. Part 2 is project management, where you're making a PERT chart. The following shows you the following stages of complete a video game. There's 8 different stages, and this is how it's different for everybody, is that you guys are picking your own time length, but follow the directions right here. I don't think I need to explain this part because you just literally follow the directions. Okay. If you're working in partners, just pick one person that will be that part. Why is everything running so slow? I hate that. I'm going to stop sharing for a second because great. Of course, everything is like frozen. Why does this have to happen when I'm recording? What the hell? Are you guys there? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
What happened? Did I go away and come back, or was I frozen?
I was the host for a little bit.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's funny. I don't know why. I don't know what happened. Let me see if I can share my screen again. Okay. What was the last thing y'all heard?
Let me stop sharing my screen, I think, is the last
Okay.
thing.
So I got through the first part, huh? Okay. I'm not gonna go full screen. Hopefully it won't. That'll help. So yeah, fill all this stuff out so you'll have the number of weeks for each one, and then all you're gonna do is you're going to make a PERT chart. Do you guys remember how to make a PERT chart? First and foremost, create a start and finish box. So you'll have a start. And I would do this on paper. It's way easier to do it on paper. Take a picture and upload it, right, Jimena? Yeah. And then we need to look back and see, well, what's going to be first? What's connected to start? Well, oh, come on. Am I freezing again? Okay. What can I connect to start? Well, anything that doesn't have a prerequisite can be connected to start. And I'm just going to use the abbreviations here. So CD, don't forget to put the number for that one there. CD is a prerequisite for game design. So I'll have a line there connected to that. And then you so on. Game design is a prerequisite for both of these. So I should have one connected to GP and then one connected to LC. Okay. So just make sure that you're using your own numbers for this problem. And in order to find the last part of that section, which is asking for what's the critical path, well, the critical path is the longest path in the chart. And so you'll list all the critical activities, the path that it takes, and tell me how long that takes. Okay, everybody's is going to be different, though, because it's based on the numbers that you pick. Part 3 is a little bit closer to what stuff that we've done more recently. You guys are going to find your own vehicle that you want online, Google it, and then Google the tire size of that vehicle. This is the format that you write. Do not use this number right here. Find your own tire. That's all you do for part 1. You're going to figure out how many times your tires rotate before you have to replace them. It's going to be a really, really big number, the last part. The 4 steps to find the circumference, I'm not going to go over the 4 steps because you can go back and look at that assignment. It's in 3.1. I posted it on the first slide. The Google slides that I have originally, you can find the step-by-step on what to do and how to do it in there. Show your work on this side, put the answer on each step on this in this section here, and your final answers in the yellow. And then on the last slide for this section, it'll actually ask you it'll walk you through on how to figure out how many times your tire will actually rotate before you have to replace them every about 50,000 miles. This number here is going to be really, really big. It's going to be in the tens of millions times that it's going to rotate. So don't worry if you get a really, really big number because it's supposed to be like that. Okay. And then part 4 is probability. So what we just did recently, it talks about a carnival game and having 2 chances to shoot a basketball in a hoop. If you make both, you win a large prize. If you make one, you win a small prize. If you don't make either, you win nothing. And I want you to create a tree diagram to model the outcomes of the carnival game. The probability that you make any given shot is equal to your current 9 weeks 2 grade. This is how it changes. This is how it changes the answers for everybody to be something different, unless you have the same grade as somebody else. If you're working in partners, just use one of your person's grades. Here's what your tree diagram will start to look out. It says, be sure to label each tree diagram with the probability of making it or missing it. When you're shooting the basketball, you only have 2 options. You can either make it or you can miss it. You guys watching this too? Because y'all haven't gotten here yet. And it says that you have 2 chances to make that basketball in the hoop. So no matter whether you make or miss it the first time, you can either make or miss it the second time as well. Okay. And so your tree diagram here is pretty straightforward and pretty simple. There's only 4 different outcomes. You can make and miss and make, or miss and miss. If you want to label each branch, you have to use your grade. Jimena, what's your grade right now? 85? Okay. So if your grade is an 85, there's an 85% chance of making a shot, then we're going to use the decimal version 0.85 every time to make the shot. So Jimena, if you have an 85% chance of making the shot, what's your chance of missing the shot? %. So that's 0.15. And remember, it's probably better to use the decimal versions on tree diagrams because of the next step. Don't forget to label where you win a large prize, a small prize, or nothing. I'm not going to do that, but where here do you win a large prize? Where do you win a small prize? Where do you win nothing? I'll let you guys do that on your own. Okay. So on the last part of this, it's asking you, and if you go back to 4.7 and watch that video again, I go over this all exactly. How do you win a large prize? Well, wherever you win a large prize right here, you multiply the probabilities to get that probability of winning a large prize. So if you have to make both shots in order to win a large prize, then the probability of winning a large prize is going to be 0.85 times 0.85. And then there goes my stuff again. Okay. If you go back and watch the 4.7 video, though, this here will I go over all of this in that video, or those slides. You can pull up those slides too. It's pretty straightforward to finish your project. So that's your project in a nutshell. Doesn't take very long. I think about an hour to an hour and a half at the most if you're sitting down and doing this. I'm gonna stop.